Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to see about the Byzantine agreement, right? Let's just imagine you're in a group project, but not everyone is honest, not everyone is cooperative. Some teammates are just sending wrong information, some are just staying silent when you need them to speak, and a few just they don't just care. How would the group still reach one correct decision? It's not possible. There has to be some rules, there has to be some enforcements, right? So this is exactly the problem that computers in a distributed network face. Some nodes may fail, some nodes just go offline, or some may even act maliciously. And yet, at the end of the day, the system must still agree on a single truth. Not on a single decision, but on a single truth. And that's where your Byzantine's agreement comes in. Now, it's not just about agreeing, it's about agreeing despite all the lies, despite all the faults, despite all the connection failures, despite the uncertainties in the network, right? So that is why we're going to study about the Byzantine's agreement. So what is Byzantine? So Byzantine, the word Byzantine actually comes from a famous military puzzle where the generals try to coordinate an attack without trusting all the messengers that deliver the information to them. So yeah, from cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin to the modern cloud systems, Byzantine agreement has actually played up a great pivotal role. It has been a backbone of trust in the trustless world. And without it, your distributed systems would collapse, right? Because there is a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of failure, and all of this. So let's just go ahead, study about the Byzantine's agreement. It says general commands soldiers. So there's one commander, the general, who sends an order to a group of lieutenants. And this general does not send the information to all of them at once because he's not a central authority. Don't forget that. We have decentralization, we have peer-to-peer network, right? Do you remember that? So this general, if it is sending the information to one of his soldiers, let's say Lieutenant 1, the information path is just between general to lieutenant 1, nothing else, right? So in distributed terms, the general refers to the leader or a proposer, and the soldiers are just your another nodes in the network, right? So if all loyal soldiers attack, victory is certain. So if every honest, non-faulty node follows the order to attack, the plan succeeds. So if all your non-faulty nodes, they agree on the same action, let this to commit a transaction, the system is going to achieve the desired outcome with consistency, right? And if none is going to attack, the empire is going to survive. Now, what do you mean by this? Because they're all going to be there in the defense place, right? Earlier, they were all being offensive, they were all attacking. But if none is going to attack, they're all going to survive because they're all going to be in the defensive state, right? And the defenders are going to win. You know, what is the main point? That everybody has to be on one page. If you're attacking, every honest node in the network has to attack. And if you're defending your empire, every honest node in the network has to defend. Because if some are going to attack, the empire is lost. Because if you're honest soldiers, they are going to be split. Some attack while some they don't, the attack fails and the goal is ruined, right? Inconsistent decisions in your blockchain across the honest nodes lead to catastrophic failures. Data corruption, inconsistent state, broken protocol, right? And the gong keeps time. Now, what is gong? There's actually a common clock, a common signal. It's not like one instant everybody has to attack, right? But there's a window. In that window, you have to attack. If the command is to attack, and if the consensus decision is to attack, in that window, everybody has to attack, right? It is not that the one instant everybody is attacking, no. But in one window, let's say the window is a 5-second window, let's just assume, just assumption, right? So it's not that if one at second you all decide you are going to attack, it's not that at one at second every node attacks, no. If the decision is made at one at second, you can take time up to 5 seconds individually to just attack. Do you get that? So this just tells you that you have a synchronous setting where participants, they have a shared notion, they have a shared notion for round, they should have a shared notion for time. It makes coordination easier because nodes know when to expect messages and when an action window begins, because there's a shared timing, right? But they don't need to all attack at once. Last line on the slide. So this is what I was telling you, that the soldiers, they don't have to physically, the nodes, the soldiers, they don't need to physically all attack at this exact same instant. They only need to agree on the plan that, okay, are we all attacking or are we all just defending? And if once the decision is made, they get a window. In that agreed window, they have to do the work. It could be attacking, it could be defending. So yeah, if I talk about the system terms, consensus is about agreeing on the value. Are we attacking or are we not attacking? And it's not about the perfect instant that you have to hit. No, it's just a small coordinated time window and everybody has to work in that coordinated time window. I hope you're able to get things right. So the enemy works by corrupting the soldiers. You have your Byzantine soldiers and the enemy is going to work by corrupting your soldiers. The main risk isn't the outside opponent or something. It's that some soldiers may be bribed, some soldiers may be tricked, some soldiers may be turned into traitors. And these nodes in the network, they're going to cause you issues. These these malicious nodes, they are actually your enemy in real terms. So orders are distributed by exchange of messages. So the general, since he is not a centralized authority, he cannot shout the messages to all his lieutenants. It is peer-to-peer network. So the soldiers rely on passing written messages to each other on a one-on-one basis, right? You don't have a shared memory, you don't have a central overseer. It's a distributed system where nodes can communicate only through message passing. Corrupt soldiers violate protocol at will. Now, let's say I have an honest commander. This lieutenant node is actually a malicious node, compromised node. So, if my honest commander is telling this node to attack, this node, what it is going to do, it is not going to attack. And also, it is going to pass the message of not attack to all its fellow lieutenants. Do you get this? Right? So corrupted soldier might send false orders, give different instructions to different comrades, or ignore the plan altogether, right? And corrupt soldiers can't intercept and modify messages between loyal troops. Let's say we have Lieutenant 1, we have Lieutenant 2, and we have Lieutenant 3. While Lieutenant 2 is actually a malicious node, Lieutenant 1 and Lieutenant 3 are your honest nodes. So whatever message passing is happening between Lieutenant 1 and Lieutenant 3, Lieutenant 2 cannot intercept any messages, cannot try to trick any messages, right? So the message that has to be sent directly between the two loyal participants, it cannot be tampered during its transit, right? So this in a way sets a limit to what your adversary, to what your malicious node, to what your compromised node can do in the network. The gong sounds slowly. So time progress is actually in the recognizable steps. You know when a window has started, you know when a window is going to end, right? It should not be like you keep waiting for when the messages will come, because sometimes the nodes can actually choose to not send any message. There is ample time for loyal soldiers to exchange messages. So before deciding, the loyal soldiers get enough time frame, enough rounds of communication to share information with each other. The all-to-all message exchange helps them delete all the inconsistencies that could occur, identify traitors, identify their lies, and ensure agreement despite every corruption, despite every malicious effort. I hope you get this, right? Next, a commander must send an order to his n-1 lieutenants such that. Now, what is your commander? Your commander is your commander is a general, right? Your commander is your node which is going to propose a block in this transaction. Now, the order that he or she is going to send, that node actually it is going to send, is going to be to its n-1 lieutenant. Now, let's say we have n nodes in the network. One node is your lieutenant. Other n-1 nodes are your listening nodes in the network at that time, right? They're all your lieutenants. If you are the commander, if one is the commander, n-1 are your lieutenant nodes in the network. I hope you get this, right? Okay. Then you have IC1 and IC2, and while your IC1 and IC2 are called interactive consistency conditions. First condition, interactive consistency, one condition is called your agreement, and interactive condition 2 is called your validity. This slide is very important for you to understand, right? So together these two properties, IC1 of agreement and IC2 of validity. Interactive consistency condition, 1 of agreement, 2nd of validity, they're known as interactive consistency conditions, and they define what it means for Byzantine agreement to succeed. When can your Byzantine agreement succeed? When all honest participants agree and the result is meaningful if the leader is honest. Now let's just see one on one each. IC1, interactive consistency 1. What is it? All loyal lieutenants obey the same order. Now, let's say I have one commander and 3 soldiers, out of which 2 are honest. If my commander gives the command as attack, and my commander, I'm considering him to be honest commander, right? You'll understand what it means. But let's see, out of your 3 fellow lieutenants, 1 is faulty lieutenant and 2 are your honest lieutenants. So these 2 honest lieutenants, they have to be on the same page. If they're going to attack, both have to attack. If they're going to just stay in the defensive, if they're just going to play defensively, both have to play defensively, both have to be at a retreat. So this is the agreement condition. No matter what happens, the loyal soldiers must never end up divided. Either they're all going to attack or they're all going to stay at the retreat. But they must be in agreement with each other. Then second, IC2, interactive consistency condition 2. If the commander is loyal, then every loyal lieutenant obeys the order he sends. So this is the validity condition. If the general, the commander is trustworthy, then all the loyal lieutenants should follow exactly what he commanded. If my commander says attack and my commander is honest commander, all the nodes at the end of the day, the honest nodes have to attack. If my commander, if my general, if my proposer node says retreat, irrespective of how many nodes are there in the network, all the honest nodes have to stay at retreat. Whatever information the malicious nodes pass to them, irrespective of everything, all my honest nodes have to stay at retreat. I hope you get that, right? So at the end of the day, we're going to see how Byzantine agreement is going to revolve around these two conditions, one of agreement, the other of validity. So let T be the maximum number of faulty processes that a protocol is supposed to tolerate, right? So in the system, some processes, some soldiers, some nodes may be faulty, may be malicious. We call this maximum number T. The protocol must work correctly, meaning the protocol is going to follow IC1 and IC2 up to T processes, right? It can so it cannot tolerate more than T processes, given we have only n nodes. What it says, Byzantine agreement is not possible with fewer than 3 T plus 1 processes. If you have T malicious nodes in the network, you need to have a total of 3 T plus 1 node, 3 T plus 1 generals in your network. Otherwise, Byzantine's agreement is not going to work for you. So this is a very critical requirement that says to tolerate T faulty, please keep in mind, to tolerate T faulty nodes, you need to have 3 T plus 1 total nodes in your network. Now why? So if you have fewer than 3 T plus 1 nodes, let's say you have 2 T nodes. We'll start with, so T nodes are faulty. If you have 2 T nodes, in that total of 2 T node bucket, T nodes are faulty, T nodes are correct. When the both are going to be, equal, how are you going to reach to a consensus? It is not possible, because the T faulty nodes are going to actually not, are actually not going to let you reach to a consensus. So with fewer than 3 T plus 1, the faulty nodes could split the honest ones into conflicting groups. We're going to see this next. Tricking them into different decisions, tricking them to not take actual decisions. So Byzantine agreement is not possible if you have fewer than 3 T plus 1 processes, where T stands for your faulty nodes. Okay. Right. So let's just see impossibility result. With only 3 generals, no solution can work with even one traitor. So 3 T plus 1, when you say the T is 1, The total generals should be 4. But now let's say you have your total generals as 3. Make sense? We are going to, now, when I told you about 2t, you'd be thinking that why then 3t plus 1? Why not 3t? So let's just see this, right? Now I have 3 generals, and as per 3t, sorry, now I have one general who is malicious, who is faulty node. So if t is 1, my Byzantine agreement will fail if I have less than 3t plus 1 nodes. But let us check for 3t. So I have 3 generals here, commander, L1, L2, right? So if we only have 3 total participants, that goes with 1 commander, 2 lieutenants, and even 1 is corrupt, agreement becomes impossible. Let's see how, right? Because let's say your commander is going to command L1 to attack. Make sense? Makes sense. L2 is going to command your L1 to retreat because L2 is your faulty node. Even when commander told L2 to attack, L2 is going to give you malicious message of retreat. Now what is L1 going to choose? L1 is now stuck in a loop. One person is telling him to just go and attack. One is just telling him to stay and retreat. I don't know who is honest with me. I just know I'm getting 2 different messages of attack and retreat, and I don't know whom to trust. I don't know whom to abide by, because my commander can also be untrustworthy, and this node that is there with me, the lieutenant 2, this person can also be untrustworthy, right? So he doesn't know who's lying, right? So with this, the lieutenant does not know what to do. Should it be the commander to trust, or should it be the lieutenant 2 whom he's going to trust, right? So from L1's perspective, both situations look identical. He cannot know whom to trust. This means agreement IC1 cannot be guaranteed. Some loyal generals may attack in these conditions while others may retreat, right? So this simple setup is to, has been put up in the deck for you to understand why 3 players aren't enough. With only 3, a single liar can always create confusion. That's why we need 3T plus 1 generals. With 4 generals and 1 traitor, the loyal majority can cross-check and still agree. So let's say in the above case when I told you, right, we don't know whom to trust. The commander can also be, the L1 can also trust commander, the L1 can also not trust commander, L1 can also trust L2, L1 can also not trust L2. He does not know actually whom to go by. So the option 1, it says the loyal commander, right? In this case, the commander is loyal and gives the order attack. Lieutenant 1 receives attack directly from the commander, as you see in the diagram, right? And Lieutenant 2 is corrupt. Though it also receives the message to attack, it is going to send a malicious message to L1 asking it to retreat. Now L1 is in a conflict. Commander says attack, L2 says retreat. But according to IC2, if the commander is loyal, then every loyal lieutenant is going to just go with the decision what the commander took for the troop. So L1 is going to say what? L1 is going to say attack, right? So L1 must obey the commander's attack order even though a corrupt soldier tries to confuse him. This is not by the Byzantine agreement. This is just for you to know what are the options, right? Byzantine agreement is not going to tell you who is trustworthy, who is not trustworthy. That is all the maths that you have to employ. That is why you need more than 3 soldiers here. You need 4 soldiers, 4 or more than 4. Let's go with the next. Now, if the commander is actually false, right? So, commander tells you attack. Commander tells attack to L1. Commander tells retreat to L2. L1 does not know what should it be, right? But L1 and L2 must also follow the same order by the validity condition. I hope you're getting it, right? Let's just do it again. The commander is corrupt, right? He sends different orders to your different lieutenants. L1 gets the order to attack. L2 gets the order to stay retreated. L2 is loyal. So he simply forwards the message that he gets from the commander to L1. He tells L1 that we need to retreat. Now L1 is going to see 2 conflicting messages. One, commander asking him to attack, while L2, that is a loyal note telling it to retreat because it got that from the commander, right? So by IC1, all loyal lieutenants must obey the same order, right? So even though the commander is corrupt, the loyal lieutenants must reach agreement among themselves. It means L1 must follow L2's message, ensuring consistency. But how will he take that decision? That is how Byzantine is going to come into play. But we know, right, what L1 must do if the commander is not trustworthy, and if the commander is trustworthy. This is just to tell you that. So you had two options where L1 cannot distinguish between two scenarios. I hope you get that, because if the commander is honest, the another node is going to play and send the malicious message to your L1, and your L1 is still going to stay in the confusion. And if your commander is untrustworthy, your commander is not loyal, he's going to send two different messages to two different nodes, and then when this node sends the message here, it is going to be entirely different. I hope you get that. So we know that there is no solution with fewer than 3 M+1 generals that can cope with your M traitors. If you have M traitors in your network, you need to have 3 M+1 nodes equal to or greater than 3 M+1 nodes, right? With this, we have the next one as oral messages. Then we have oral messages algorithm. So I think since we're starting up with the new concept of Byzantine's agreement, this we're going to take up in the next video. So the next video is going to be on oral messages, oral message algorithm, and so on and so forth. So thank you everybody for your time. If you could take something from the video, if you found the video helpful, just go in, like the video, subscribe the channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.